It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels.
Right, hello. I'm going to just give it a second to so someone in chat lets you know. Excuse me. Can you hear me? Because my stream deck is just not working tonight. I have to do everything by manual. I don't know what's changed. It's just decided it's going to not work right now. So, can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me. Hello, Phil. Hey, JT Money. Hey, Levi. Been a while, actually. Night. Good evening. Cool. Okay, so we've got like 8 lists to run through. There's so many list submissions coming in at the moment, I guess, because of the new points drops. It's crazy. I'm getting like 20 list submissions. I can't do 20 lists on the show. So we're going to try and do... I'm live like 10 minutes early tonight. I'm trying to stay 10 minutes longer than I normally do, so to speak. So we'll just try and get through as many lists as we can. We'll give feedback on as many things as we know and as we can see, I guess. Father, and good evening. Okay, and if you do want to have your list on the show, you know what to do. Whenever this episode ends, you can go into the YouTube comments, you can post out your whole list from Battlescribe. If you are going to do that and drop me a list, it's super handy if you tell me what characters are attached to what units, because otherwise I just have to guess. And it's also super handy if there's a specific play you're going after, you know, like, hey, I'm gonna rapid ingress Lamartis in the 10 Death Company. Super handy if you can write that in the list as well. Living Ghost says start taking Oceans of Blade Guard. Yeah, you know, you can fit 14 Blade Guard. So 2 squads of 6 plus 2 characters inside a Land Raider Redeemer, which is pretty good. Another thing I'm trying to do on every YouTube stream now is ask to get 100 likes. I don't know if we can, but it does really help me if you guys like the stream. So pretty much in every stream, I'm going to put up a poll that basically says, can we get 100 likes? If you've got 2 seconds throughout this video to hit the like button, I would really, really appreciate it. Okay, so let's jump into the first list for tonight. This is a list submitted by Capperjack. For some reason, I seem to think that's Australian, but I'm not really sure. I don't know why I think it's Australian, but it seems like it could be. He's working on Sons of Sanguinius list, and he would be interested in advice. So he's got Lamartis and the Sanguinar, 2 very strong characters, possibly the best ones you could have, I suppose. I just recently ran Sons of Sanguinius with these 2 characters as my characters for the list. Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack, also pretty good. I ran one without the jump pack this week to buff Assault Intercessors. It's pretty nice. Jason, good evening. Let's go. How are you doing? We have Andonius, good evening. Hello, hello. Hopefully I said hello to anyone, and maybe I missed you, Ardeen, at the very start. Hey, and Capperjack, hello. Nice to see you. So we've got the Assault Intercessors and the Heavy Intercessors. I friggin' love Heavy Intercessors, man. I was painting them last night. Mine are getting pretty close to being done. I think 5-man of them is really, really good. I know some people maybe disagree, but if you're ever on an objective and you're up against enemies with 1 damage weapons, they're really, really good. They're not bad against 2 damage weapons either, in that they need two failed saves to kill a guy. So I really like the Heavy Intercessors. I think 100 points are kind of a steal. Just personally for me, I'm taking Infiltrators at the moment. Does it count if you like the stream twice? Hey, if I get 2 likes on it, yeah, I guess it counts. We got the Assault Centurions. Didn't actually say how they're armed. I'm assuming you're arming them with bolters and flamers. I mean, I guess you could arm them with bolters and meltas. Flamers are possibly better. You've got 1 assault squad with the jump packs. You can put a couple of plasma pistols in there. You can put a power fist in there. I guess you just haven't mentioned it. 10 infernal sorry, 10 Infernal Pistols. Yeah, 10 Infernal Pistols on 10 Death Company with jump packs with 10 Power Fists. I think that's really good. Attached to the Martyrs, I think it's really good. You've got the Infiltrators in here anyway. Cool. I think they're really good for holding the backfield. So yeah, I don't mind having that many battle line. Like, having a few battle line units is pretty useful. Heavy Intercessors are a great unit to send out into the middle of the board if you can get them on an objective. You get 2 squads of Scouts. You've got 10 Vanguard Veterans with Storm Shields. I assume these guys have heirloom weapons. You got Librarian Dreadnought, who's brilliant with Heavy Intercessors, by the way. You just throw them out onto an objective and then hold it and do actions and that sort of stuff. How many points is this list? Is this 2,000? You've got a Vindicator tank. Is this 2,000? 360, 470, 700, 800, 1060, 1060 plus 235, 1295 plus 175 plus 250 plus 90. Yeah, this is 2,000. Feels for some reason it feels a little bit light of a 2,000 point list. Why is that? Maybe it's the 3 characters and 3 battle line make it feel a little bit shy. You got the Vindicator as well. Is this supposed to be 2 Vindicators? I'm gonna have to do this math. If I missed something. I'm pretty decent at maths in my head, but not that fast. Plus 260 plus 100 plus 130. Yeah, so it's 2 Vindicator tanks, right? Just for some reason I didn't put the point cost in here. So I was going to say 1 Vindicator tank didn't seem that great. But yeah, 2 Vindicator tanks. Okay, so a Thangri Priest with Van Vets. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so the Van Vets are strength 7 on the charge at minus 2 AP. 1 damage each. Lamartas with the Death Company, again, makes sense. Block of Death Company and Sanguine are in Deep Strike. Everyone else starts on the board. The Van Vets of the Sanguinary Priest are meant as a tanky, fast blob that murders anything it's got in range of. So far, it's meant to be a distraction. It's quite an expensive distraction, 300 points. I thought another option was to get rid of 1 squad of Scouts and the Foot Assault Intercessors and replace them with 1 Ball Predator and put an enhancement on the Priest. Do you think that's better? What I think would be better is having some sort of long-range firepower. Because I don't know if I reckon Vindicators are long-range, right? They're only 24 inches. I guess they move 9, so they're 33 inches. Double Vindicator is quite nice. But I think it's a lot better in Gladius than it is in Sons of Sanguinius. Because I've played it in both. And the problem I have with it in Sons of Sanguinius is it felt like it was better to reserve the Vindicators in Sons of Sanguinius, whereas in Gladius you can start them on the board and advance them. 24 inches threat range is kind of a little bit low. You talk about dropping the Assault Intercessors and let's go to Scouts. You know, the dilemma really comes from, like, you've got the Infiltrators for the backfield. And you've got the Heavy Intercessors to try and take something midfield. So it really does come down to... And your Librarian and Dreadnought will kind of be in the backfield anyway, because he kind of has to hide. And this is one of the reasons that I've dropped the Librarian and Dreadnought in my lists, is because he ends up sort of stuck in your backfield. He has to hide behind terrain because he can't survive, because he doesn't have invulnerable saves, and las cannons and other things will pick him off. And then if you lose him, you won't be able to teleport, and teleport is super powerful. So, yeah, I think you are right. I think I would probably drop... If it was me, I'd probably drop the Assault Intercessors and the Scouts. My problem, maybe more so, is like the Centurions, though. Like, Centurions are so friggin' slow. I feel like if you're going to invest the points in a transport for the Centurions, and I guess the only transports are Repulsors and Land Raiders, then I'm all for Centurions. If you don't take a transport, I don't know how you're making Centurions work, because... I guess you could try a 9-inch charge, but I feel like the 9-inch charge is less than 50% even with a reroll. So I think the only way you make Centurions work is if you have a Land Raider Redeemer. And if, or not just land, like if you have a transport that can get the Centurions across the board, then I think Centurions are great. But if you do not have a transport to get them across the board, I've used Centurions a lot. 4 inches of movement is horrific. Like having played Centurions in like 10 games now, occasionally you roll that 11-inch charge and you're like, wow, my Centurion's got 11 inches move, this is great, they're brilliant. But then 8 out of 10 times they fail like 6 inches charge, they move 4 inches next turn, then they fail to charge it again. They're just so difficult to play the Centurions. You can teleport them, yes, but I think it's still very, very difficult to play them. If you teleport them, your opponent's probably going to be able to move more than 4 inches, so they can just keep you 9 inches away from them and prevent you charging anything. Unless you're rolling like an 11-inch charge, which, like I said, happens once every 10 games or something. So, I think your bigger problem here is actually Centurions. Double Scouts, I actually am kind of fine with. I probably think you can drop the Assault Intercessor squad. So you probably have, like, the Assault squad on foot, and the Centurions, it's 230 points there, where you need to rethink that. And there could be a huge argument where you just say in this list, if this was me right now, because I think Librarian Dreadnought works better with shooting-based lists, right? Because every time you teleport, you will guarantee to be able to hit because you're shooting, and that's why Librarian Dreadnought's kind of brilliant with Aggressors or Eradicators or something like that. Not so brilliant with a charging unit, but I would honestly say Librarian Dreadnought, your Assault Intercessors on foot, and your Centurions, all of those could come out. So that could give you 170 plus 225. So you could get like 395 points. What could you do with 395 points? Well, you could literally take a Land Raider Redeemer and a bunch of Blade Guard inside it. That'd be interesting. You could even lose one of the squads of Scouts and have your squad of Blade Guard be a large squad. You'd have 400 and some points. You probably get like a Judiciar with a Blade Guard or something, so they fight first as well. You might not even need to take a Redeemer. You might just be able to take a regular Land Raider and use the Las Cannons. Las Cannons give you some long-range firepower on it. Laurie says he's a first-time watcher, so I'm not sure how you choose your list to review. I went 3-0 in an RTT outside Edinburgh this weekend and would love to get my list of views. Laurie, so what you do is you put your list into the comments of this stream as soon as it finishes. And I do try and get through everybody's lists. I'm probably like a week or two backlogged at the moment because there's a lot of new lists coming through. But I will, if you put your list in the YouTube comments, I will 100% get to it. Might not be next week, but probably the week after. I mean, assuming you submitted it today, I pretty much just go on first come, first served. So there was about, I think I'm looking at like 8 lists tonight, or 7 lists, and I think there was maybe like 5 more that I haven't looked at that were submitted in the last week. So, like I said, maybe if you submit it within, like, as soon as the stream ends, probably might be on next week, but definitely the week after. Okay, so yeah, this list isn't too bad, but having played these sort of things, I feel like Vindicators struggle a little bit in Sons of Sanguinius due to their movement. I think that Librarian Dreadnought is much better in a shooting-based list, and I think the Centurions are very difficult to play. I mean, I always say to people, play your lists before you change them. Like, don't just change the list because I told you to change it. Play the list as it is, but remember the comments that I said. So if you go back, you start playing Capperjack and you're going, oh my god, I can't get these Centurions into melee with anything, because that's usually what happens. Even the Devastator Centurions are hard with their 4 inches of movement as well, to be honest. So if you play a couple of games and you're going like, my Centurions really are underperforming, I'm struggling them to get into melee, then maybe you could think about some of the stuff I said. What about one Death Company jump back unit with a chaplain over those 2? I think the 5-man Death Company with a chaplain is great. I think the 10-man Death Company with Lamartes is probably better. My current list uses both. I have 5 with a chaplain and I've got 10 with Lamartes, but I don't have any Van Vets or assault jump units, assault intercessors with jump packs. They're jump intercessors, I guess. They've got a strange name, don't they? So I just have Death Company because I think 2 damage power fists is kind of the best way to go. So, cool. Yes, I think it's not bad. I think it's probably along the right lines. But I think my gut tells me that we don't need 3 battle line units. Like I have, well, do you know what? Infiltrators aren't even battle line anymore, I guess, because they are just OC1. But they were battle line like last edition, right? So like they were like troop choices, and my gut tells me that we don't need 3 troop choices. It's too much this edition. Last edition, 3 troop choices was kind of standard. This edition, I run like 1. In my Gladius list, I ran 2. And I honestly think that 2 might have been too many. All right. We're going to have to keep it short and sweet because we've got so many lists to go through tonight. So, Incursion, 2,000 point list, another Sons of Sanguinius list up next. This list was from Robert Richardson. So he says he's got Commander Dante, who we don't see very often, and Lamartez. He has the Apothecary Biologist. He's a Chaplain with a jump pack. He has a Librarian in Terminator Armor. And he has Lieutenant with Combi Weapon. This feels like too many characters. What is this like? 525 points on characters. I don't really think that you should be spending much more than 300 on characters. If you're much over 300 on characters, then I feel like you probably have too many characters. Characters are good and they buff units, but you know, they don't necessarily do that. Like, I guess like Dante's a bad example because he does have like 9 attacks, but a Chaplain with a jump pack, he does less damage than any one of the Death Company men that he's with, and the Death Company men cost about 1/3 of his points. So you just have to be careful you don't get into this trap. Like I think 525. I think even 400 plus is probably too many characters these days. There's no right or wrong here, but I honestly think it's too much. El Marto says, do you guys play sniper rifles in scouts? Is it not include for free, or the 2 shots for the shotguns better? I think it's fine to have a sniper rifle in the scouts, El Marto. It is good to have some guys with shotguns, though, because it does mean you can advance and do actions, and that is super handy for the scouts. What about 1 Death Company jump back with a Chaplain over 2? I think I already answered that, didn't I? Zachary says, as soon as Mephiston can lead Blade Guard, I'll be a lot happier. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that'll come. All right, we've got an Intercessor squad with Plasma Pistol and Power Fist. I mean, typically you just bring Intercessors to sticky and objective now. You've got a large Flamer Aggressor squad, 6 of them. You've got Assault Intercessors with jump packs. You've got some Plasma Pistols in here. I assume you've got a Power Fist as well. Yep. You've got 5 Death Company with jump packs, Infernals, and Powers. You've got another 5 Death Company with jump packs, Infernals, and Powers. So you've got Lamartez attached to 5. You've got the other Chaplain attached to 5. I'm not sure I like that. I think Lamartez needs to be leading the 10-man. Like, he gets a lot more value out of leading the 10-man, in my opinion. So I'm not sure I would run Lamartez with 5. I think if I was going to run just 5s, I'd just run 2 regular Chaplains. But, I mean, that might help you a little bit on the points you're spending. But still, you've got Infernus squad. This is Sons of Sanguinius detachment. I'm not really sure why Infernus squad would be here unless it's maybe all... Oh, I'm a new player to 40k. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, and I think Infernus squads are kind of garbage. If you're a new player, then I guess you've probably got some in the Leviathan box set. But on average, each guy gets 3.5 hits with a flamer. So 5 guys give you like 17.5 hits, 17.5 auto hits. So assuming you're shooting against like even T4 and below infantry, the opponent needs to make like what, 12 or 13 saves with no AP. I just don't see 12 or 13 saves with no AP being worth 80 points. Maybe it is. But if you're fighting into any sort of semi-elite army, they're just going to do nothing. There isn't any stratagem to give them any AP. They're just meh. The biologist is also potentially wasted in the flame aggressors, says Mike. I mean, I guess the biologist can give a lot of OC to the flame aggressors, potentially. And I mean, they will kill something with their power fists, probably, at some point. You've got a Terminator squad in there. I guess, yeah, this definitely feels like it's from Leviathan. You've got the Ballistus Dreadnought, you've got a Death Company Dreadnought, you've got a Librarian Dreadnought, you've got an Impulsor. He's going to start the Terminators and the Death Company Dreadnought in reserve, while the Inferno squad will start in the Impulsor. Okay, I mean, I think there's better units than an Inferno squad you could put in an Impulsor. I'd probably say Blade Guard would be much better in the Sons of Sanguinius detachment. Yeah, you probably want to start building towards a 10-man Death Company with Lamartes. Aggressors are a weird unit. So you're going to try and teleport the aggressors, I guess, with Librarian Dreadnought, and you're going to do some flaming. It's not the worst thing in the world, because the aggressors are twin-linked flamers, and you probably will be shooting the closest target, so that they will have one additional point of AP from their close quarters firepower. So the flamer aggressors get D6 plus 1. So the 6-man squad is going to get more like 26 auto hits, twin-linked, with 1 AP. I mean, I like that a lot more. And I guess you lose the you don't gain the lethal hits though from the biologist, which is a little bit of a shame. Teleporting a unit around, like an aggressor unit with the Librarian Dreadnought, is not a bad play. I think you could probably start looking at heavy intercessors over regular ones. I think they're just better. I think you do need to cut a character. I guess Dante's probably leading your assault intercessors with jump packs. I don't think Dante's very competitive. I think if this is a fun list, great. If this is supposed to be a competitive list, Robert, my middle name's Robert, and my son's middle name is Robert as well. If this is supposed to be a competitive list, Robert, Bob, we call you Bob? I think you should get rid of the Infernus Marines, potentially get rid of Dante and the Assault Intercessors. That brings your character point usage much better. I know some people love this lieutenant with the combi weapon. I can take him or leave him. I'd honestly think about leaving him as well. I'd maybe add like a second Ballistus Dreadnought or some other heavy firepower, like double las cannon type weapon. You could do a Predator Annihilator. You could do a Gladiator Lancer. There could even be talk about putting a Land Raider into this list. A lot of people enjoy Land Raiders. Infernus in an Impulsor is kind of funny. I heard a thing this week, Jeff, about the Impulsor, which I don't know if it's valid, but it sounds super like shenanigansy. I know this is a tiny bit off topic, but can someone clarify this for me? Because I actually don't know the rule, and I don't know where, unless it was mentioned in the developer commentary or the rules commentary. If you had a squad of Eliminators, right? 3 guys, and the sergeant had the Instigator bolt rifle. Someone said that you can disembark from an Impulsor, have the Eliminator shoot, then use their move to embark, and then the Impulsor shoots, and the Impulsor can use the weapons of the embarked Eliminators now, even though they've already shot while they were a separate unit outside. Have I played against 10 heavy intercessors? No, I'm actually building my second 5. I don't think I can fit 10 of my list all in, but like having played 5 of them at a GT, I think they're super good. Like they surprise a lot of people. T6 3 wounds. You think that was clarified, says Antonius? Okay. Yeah, someone mentioned it and I was like, surely that's not legal. That sounds super janky. But yeah, so Impulsor, I think a better, like if you're going to put something in the Impulsor, I think Blade Guard are a good choice for that. I've run Impulsors with Blade Guard. I don't think I rate Infernus Marines inside a Blade Guard, inside an Impulsor, honestly. I do think this list could use some sort of other anti-vehicle, anti-monster, hard-hitting firepower. So, you know, like a second Ballista Strad type unit. I do think it's got too many characters. And obviously, having ran both intercessors and heavy intercessors to GT, that was what was in my list. One squad of intercessors, one squad of heavies. The heavies were like MVPs in games. The regular intercessors did very little. They stick you an objective and then they usually die to indirect fire or some nonsense, right? Sketch says next. You mean next list? Or do you mean next? I'm going to go through a lot of lists tonight. We're on limited time though. Okay, Big Hero Zix. He would love feedback on Sons of Sanguinius list with an Agent Imperium ally. His warlord is Dante. He's Icon of the Angel, and he's got 16 units. That seems okay. Let's see what we got. We got the Judiciar. We got Librarian and Phobos. So that means that whoever is attached to can't be shot. We've got Lieutenant with Combi. We've got Sanguinary Priest with Jump Pack. We've got Commander Dante. We've got the Martyrs, and we've got the Sanguiner. Feels like too many characters again. 250, 370, 470. 470 plus 210. Oh my god, the last list had too many characters. This list's got 680 points of characters. Alright, you need to, like, new rule for armies you're submitting. Don't submit more than 300 points of characters. Yeah, I mean, you can go like 10% over that. So, like, if you want to take the Sanguine or Lamartes and, like, one other expensive character, maybe you can go to 350 points. Don't be putting more than 350 points in characters. You won't have any units on the board. You'll just have... Oh my god, he's got an assassin as well. Big Hero, you got way too many characters. You got like 760 points of characters. That's like... Yeah, that's way too many. Gone are the days of these Gone are the days of characters being able to hold their own and kill more than they're worth and all that sort of thing. Characters are way less valuable than 9th. I'd argue they're even less valuable than they were in 8th. Would you recommend using Death Company intercessors? No, Gavin, unfortunately not. I think Firstborn Death Company are way better. Well, one, it's a lot of characters for Assassinate, sure, but two, it's just not going to be competitive, right? Because, like, the character will buff one unit. Yeah, maybe a few of your units will be buffed, but that won't make up for the fact that you'll be missing 2 or 3 more units. You know, like, let's talk about the list, and I'm just going to... I can see without even reading it that there's nowhere near enough units in this list. You've got 10 Assault Intercessors with jump backs. You've got 5 Assault Intercessors with jump packs. So these are just chain swords. 15 guys with chain swords. You get the 6 Blade Guard. You get 10 Death Company with Power Fist and Infernal Pistols. Okay, so I mean, the 10 Death Company with Lamartas is good. You've got the untargetable Infiltrators. I mean, that's fine. It's good. Assuming the opponent can't ever get within 12 inches of them. If you get within 12 inches of them, they're probably still dead. It isn't impossible. Like, if you're playing against Knights... You're going to be able to screen the whole of your backfield from deep striking knights with 5 infiltrators. You can maybe make them take one more turn to get to you. They're still going to get to you. You've got 1 Baal Predator. You got 1 Ballistus Dreadnought, and you got 1 Librarian Dreadnought. You got nothing in this list that's going to benefit from teleporting barely, right? You're not going to want to teleport any of your melee units, because then they need to make a 9-inch charge, and that's generally very unreliable. In fact, like, I do not even bring any unit in my list that needs to make a 9-inch charge. Just don't do it, man. Because last edition, I always used to have, like, a squad of Death Company, like 5 guys with Thunderhammers, or a squad of Terminators, like with Storm Shields and Lightning Claws, where I could put them down and try and make that 8-inch charge. 8-inch charge with a reroll is like 66%, right? And I was like, 2 out of 3 times I make the charge. I don't really want to have to bring them in and try and charge. Like, I'd rather just drop the Terminators down on an objective and be like, hey, that's my objective. Try and remove my Terminators with Storm Shields because they're super durable, right? But occasionally, like, if there is the odd game of 40k where you're like, I know I'm behind in this game and I need to eliminate some big bad unit or I cannot win the game. So, okay, I've got 5 Death Company with Thunderhammers in reserve, which I'm going to bring down and try and make my 8-inch charge, was what it was last edition, because Blood Angel's got +1 to charge, with a reroll, 60, so 2 out of 3 times I'll make the charge, I'll kill the unit, and it maybe brings me back into the game. Whereas, like, now, trying to make that 9-inch charge, you just don't make it. Like, I probably tried to make, like, 6 9-inch charge is in a row with rerolls and failed them all. Like, it's that unreliable. Like, you just can't do it. So I don't know what the Librarian Dreadnought could even really teleport here. 15. So I just played Assault Intercessors this weekend, not the one, or sorry, last week, not the ones with jump packs, just regular ones, but with the Sangori Priest to give them more survivability. And I still lost most of the Assault Intercessors to, like, incidental crappy fire in one turn, right? Like, if this is me and this is my list, I'm losing the Librarian and Phobos, I'm losing the Lieutenant and Combi Weapon. If I really want the Sangori Priest in with those Assault Intercessors, I'm probably going to have to lose Dante as well. Or the Sanguinar. You can keep either the Dante or the Sanguinar. So, you know, like, there's 140 points right there. 140 points gets me a second Ballistus Dreadnought. Cool, now we get 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts. That feels a lot better straight off. Then I'm going to lose Dante or the Sanguinar. So that's another 120 points. Yeah, I'm tempted to say that maybe you can have this. But I think you probably need to lose the Librarian Dreadnought because there's nothing good to teleport in here. So you lose the Librarian Dreadnought, you 290 points left over. You can now have a Land Raider Redeemer and get those Blade Guard inside it with the Judiciar. That's cool. And you can remove the enhancement icon Angel you had. It's total trash. Save your 10 points and bring, like, another little squad of, like, Imperial Henchmen for 40 or 50 points or whatever they cost these days. But yeah, it's like there's nowhere near enough units. Not enough killing units in this. Like, you could literally make, like, you're literally losing, like, a Librarian and Phobos armor, a Lieutenant with a Combi Weapon, and Dante, and you're adding, like, and your Dreadnought that actually can't do that much, and you're adding, like, a second Ballistus Dreadnought and a Land Raider Redeemer. Like, there's no contest here, right? As soon as the character loses his unit, he's done for. Yeah, and all his buffs disappear pretty much when he loses his unit. What do you think about 2 6-man Blade Guard plus Judiciars inside Land Raider Redeemer? I would like to actually try 14 Blade Guard inside a Land Raider Redeemer, because that's a surprising amount of Blade Guard that people would not be expecting to come out of a single transport. I think I only have like 11. I have a really awkward number because I think I bought 6. Now I think I got 3 free with those magazines, and then like I got another 2. So I have a really awkward number of Blade Guard, 11 or something. But I do think it would be very cool to have 14 inside a Land Raider Redeemer, because you would just drive the Redeemer center board, and then you just be like, right, here come all the Blade Guard. Would you rate the Blade Guard Ancient? No, not really. What does he give you? The only reason to take him is if you got 40 points or 50 points left at the end of the list, right? He gives you 5 extra attacks, 1 turn in the entire game. I mean, you might actually be better taking him not attached to a unit, just as someone who can stand on an objective. He's 45 points. Oh, he gives the Blade Guard OC2. Yeah, okay. I don't hate that for 45 points. Just typically, you're not going to be attaching captains, chapter masters, or lieutenants to Blade Guard. Do you know what? Blade Guard attached to Lieutenant is not bad because it gives you fall back and shoot. And I think Blade Guard are pretty nice to fall back and charge now with their Strength 7, right? And then the Lieutenant would give you lethals as well. Yes, okay, so maybe if you had Blade Guard plus a Lieutenant and an Ancient, but then you screw yourself because you wouldn't be able to fit all 14 inside the Redeemer like the plan that we just talked about. But yeah, maybe a Lieutenant and a Blade Guard Ancient attached to Blade Guard is not that bad. That's probably my second favorite option for them. Because I do think lethal hits is really nice on Blade Guard. I do also think fallback and charge is really nice. Remember, Blade Guard get that built-in reroll ones to hit as well. It's also +1 OC if they're even battle shocked. Yeah, so maybe the Blade Guard Ancient isn't as bad as I'm giving them credit. It would be 110 points to have a Lieutenant and the Blade Guard versus the 70 points of the Judiciar. The thing about the Judiciar is he's pretty killy now, right? Like, I ran him just this week past, and he has a Strength 9 sword on the charge. So he is pretty killy. He's pretty nice now. Alright, we're going to move on to Obi-Wan Kenobi or something. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Right, it's another Sons of Sanguinius list. It is 1980 points, so we do have 20 points to play with. We have a captain with Visitor of Death. We've got Lamartis and Sanguinar. Good. We've got... this is over 300 points, but this is okay, right? This is 240 plus... this is 335, yeah. So maybe like 350 points should be the limit. Like, don't... Please, if you're trying to build something competitive, if you end up over 350 points in characters, you probably need to start thinking, like, hey, I think I've probably got one too many characters. Plus, it just makes Assassinate that much easier when that does come up. Alright, a Ballistus Dreadnought, 6 Blade Guard. 6 Blade Guard are becoming super popular. Like, every second Sons of Sanguinius list now, we're seeing them. 6 Blade Guard. A lot of them have come with the Judiciar attached, which is nice as well, obviously, for the fight first, but the one thing you got to remember is Blood Angels are a lot weaker when they get charged as opposed to when they do charge, right? So as nice as the Judiciar is for the fact that he's going to give you fight first, you're not going to get that extra attack, you're not going to get that +2 strength. So you're also not going to be able to play Red Rampage to get +1 to wound and lethals. So while the Judiciar is nice to fight first, it is a lot weaker than actually doing the charging, which then leads me to almost the next thing in this list, which is like, it's probably why you want the Blade Guard inside a Land Raider, so you can make that 12-inch move, you can disembark them 3 inches, and then you can make the charge. So potentially your Blade Guard can be charging into the opponent's lines turn 1 or 2 pretty reliably if they're inside that Land Raider. You have the 10 Death Company. This is also becoming super common. I guess the Redeemer is becoming super common as well. Scouts, very common. Always good to have a shotgun in the scout squad so they can advance and do actions. I literally ran all my scout squads with shotguns. I don't think the extra 6 inches on the bolt guns is worth it. I mean, maybe it is. The shotguns are 6 inches less, but it just means that you don't have to worry about what model you're lifting off. Just, hey, everyone's got a shotgun except the guy with the missile launcher and the sniper rifle. You always keep someone with a shotgun in there so you can advance and do an action. Double Vindicator is also still pretty popular, right? I haven't found the best way to play Vindicators yet in Sons. I reserved one this week. I think I'll try reserving again next week. But I do love Double Vindicator in general. Like, I played it a lot in Gladius Detachment. Haven't quite worked out how to do it in Sons of Sanguinius. We've got the Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators. I really don't rate these guys, actually. I think you'd be much better off with Terminators with Storm Bolters and Power Fists. I know that they get 1 less wound, but they have some shooting, maybe incidental, but they have some. And they also they don't take -1 to hit like the Thunderhammers take. The -1 to hit on the Thunderhammers is friggin' brutal, man. I don't get why Terminators need -1 to hit on Thunderhammers. There was a thing in the lore originally that only Terminators were allowed Thunderhammers because they're so big and unwieldy or something, right? And it's like, they should have just take the -1 to hit away from Terminators and Thunderhammers, because until they do that, I think that Terminator squad is bad. We have the Calidus Assassin in here for 90 points. She's a small model on a small base. She can squeeze in, she can perform action, she can move around. She's surprisingly killy. My one killed a rhino in like 2 rounds of combat last not last week, but last month. So I think the Calidus Assassin is a really good choice. I guess that pushes your characters up a little high, but I'm kind of okay with it. So you've got the Blade Guard and the Land Raider to midfield objective. You have the Terminators to drop on another objective, I think. Still not sold on the 4 wounds, but could be good staying power. I'm not sold on the Thunderhammer Terminators at all. I think just put your Stormbolt or Bolt Gun ones in. If you're dropping them on an objective, at least you can shoot. When is my game this week? Says Mike. It's going to be Wednesday night against Death Guard, I think. I need to text Colin, double check, but I think it's going to be normal time Wednesday night. Scouts to skewer midfield or move block, score backline. It was 2 squads of scouts, wasn't it? Yeah. This is a draft list. So I have a few tournaments coming up and planning using Sons of Sanguinius, so open to suggestions how I can improve this. Thanks for... Can't read. Thanks all you do, John, and all the help you provide on the Discord. I came back from 9th after a long break. Yeah, I'm not even always on Discord. There's a lot of very helpful people in Discord, so I guess Obi-Wan is giving a shout out to just everybody that helps out on our Discord. Day on day, week on week, guys, it's appreciated. It's nice that we've got such a helpful community, honestly. I was actually going to do a video. Oh, I need to film another... Did I leave it open in a tab somewhere? No. I was going to do a quick video. My raffle the raffle prizes finally got delivered. So I was gonna quickly put together a video to show, like, I think I just need to click withdraw revenue now, and the charity is going to get like $1,000. So I was going to do a quick video on that, maybe tomorrow night or something. I think it's probably just telling me. Yeah, so someone reviewed it and they got their winner prize. So brilliant. Good morning from New Zealand. Love the vehicle video. Oh, you're most welcome, Nathan. You're most welcome. Okay, so do you know what? Double Vindicator plus a Ballistic Dreadnought plus a Land Raider Redeemer is actually probably not too bad at all. That gives a good amount of, like, you got some long range from the Ballistas, you got some very short range from the Redeemer, you've got Overwatch Shutdown, Double Vindicator is good. Characters seem pretty good. The squads I'm kind of okay with. I assume that, did he say the captain? The captain must be with the Blade Guard then. So he's using probably the captain with the Blade Guard so that they can get the free... Red Rampage, because you might want to pay Red Rampage on your Death Company as well as the Blade Guard. Yeah, okay, I'm kind of okay with that. The Sanguinor is a good distraction, so to speak, or a threat. The Calidus is good at scoring. I think try out those Terminators, but I honestly think the ones with Power Fists are much better now. And how many points is Visage of Death? I actually don't know. I think it's 20 points, right? 15. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Because I'm going to say, if he takes 15 off... I don't know, if he takes 15 off, he's down to 1965. So if you swap these out for the other Terminators, he gets another 10. He's down to 1955. So he could fit... You could fit that Blade Guard Ancient you guys were talking about. I mean, not the greatest character. But he could... Visage of Death does basically nothing. Let's read Visage of Death. While the enemy, excluding monsters and vehicles within engagement range, you half their OC. Right? But here's the... So he's got that on a Blade Guard... He's got that on a captain. So his Blade Guard are charging in. Each Blade Guard gets 5 attacks, so it's 30 attacks. Their strength 7, -2, 2 damage. He's probably playing +1 to wound because you get that free. So you've got 30 Blade Guard attacks. Let's just add the captain attacks as well. The captain can get like 10 extra attacks, right? Because he's... He can use that once per battle ability to get 3 extra attacks. He gets 1 more on the charge. So maybe it's 9. No, it's 10. So he's got 40 attacks. We're hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. 10 of them are actually hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s. So let's just say it's about an 80% chance to hit. So he makes 32 hits. They're strength 7 with +1 to wound and lethals. So like 6 of them instantly are lethals. So there's like 26 left. If you are going to be fighting against opponent infantry, they're probably going to be less than strength toughness 7, right? Very few enemies, like I guess Centurions are toughness 7, Wraith Blades are toughness 7, but for the most part, you're going to be less than 7, which means if you're less than 7, you're wounding on 2s with +1 to wound from Red Rampage. So let's just say we're fighting less than T7. So the enemy is going to take 27 saves at -2 damage, and then you're going to half the OC of whatever's left. Well, if they take 27 saves at -2 damage, and they still... And you need to half their OC to take that objective from them, then I guess cool. But I feel like that's going to be like I think this is a garbage enhancement, honestly. So I'd save the 15 points on that. I'd save the 10 points on this Terminator squad. That gives you the 45 points. Put your Blade Guard Ancient in there. There you go. I think that's better. Your Blade Guard are OC2. And once per game you can get like... Is it like 6 extra attacks? So just the first time you charge, just pop the Heroism. Everyone in the unit gets 1 more attack. So you go up to like 46 attacks from that squad of Blade Guard. And obviously then you get whatever this guy's got. I guess he would get 7 chain sword or melee. He'd get to punch them in the face at strength 4, no EP. Oh, he wouldn't even. He would be punching them in the face at strength 6, no EP, 6 times. 7 times, sorry. So I think that would be much better. Good luck at your tournament, Obi-Wan. Hope. I'm just giving you my 2 cents. Feel free to ignore. What survives that many attacks and still has more OC than the Blade Guard squad and isn't going to just punt them back off the objective when they fight back? Exactly. And it only works against infantry. Maybe I could understand it if that enhancement worked against monsters and vehicles. There's almost no reason for that enhancement not to work against monsters and vehicles. Just bad rule writing on the Sons of Sanguinius Index, honestly. But I mean, we've been struggling with bad rule writing on the Sons of Sanguinius Index, Jeff, for 9 months. We're gonna struggle for probably another 9, right? Okay, first Gladius list for tonight. We have the Apothecary Biologist with Fire Discipline. We have a Chaplain with Power Fist and Acrosius. We have a Lieutenant with a Combi Weapon. We've got a squad of Intercessors. We've got the 6 Blade Guard with the Auto Bolt Gauntlets. We've got double Ball Predator. We've got triple Ballistus Dreadnought. We've got 5 Death Company Marines with jump packs. We've got Infiltrator Squad. We've got Librarian Dreadnought. We've got the Scout Squad ×2. We've got Stormspeeder Thunderstrike. Interesting. Very interesting, actually. And a Calidus Assassin. Okay. It seems like there's a very mixed reaction to the balanced data slate. Most people are willing to try out the Sons of Sanguinius Detachment, but it seems a general sentence that the Sanguinary Guard are still too expensive to get onto the battlefield. Yes, I think everybody, even the people who are playing the Sons of Sanguinius Detachment, agree Sanguinary Guard are still too many points. I actually did a poll on my channel and submitted it to Games Workshop, but they don't... I mean, I'm too small. They don't listen to me. Let me see if I can find the poll, because it was kind of damning, right? It was like 846 people voted, 16% felt Sanguinary Guard are good, 84% said they're still too expensive to get on the battlefield. This is frustrating, honestly. I don't see how Games Workshop don't see this, but it is what it is. Alright, so he's got 2 scouts, infiltrators, lieutenant, intercessors, and Calidus for secondaries. Everything else is killy. Mostly aggressive with my scouts and careful with others. The balls are bullet sponges, but they can do serious damage with the help of the Thunderstrike, toughness 9+. 3 ballistas because I get them and they're pretty cheap. +1 to wound will help them too. Classic aggressor librarian for roll 1 lose game. In the future, I'll probably put them in Land Raider Doomer, mostly playing against Astrometarum-shaped lists, which get me to look at heavy anti-vehicles. Hey Mike, how you doing? Yeah, if you put the list into the comments at the end of this video, I'll review it for sure. I do like if you are gonna put aggressors in your list, I actually really I like having Librarian Dreadnought with the aggressors. It's really, really strong. You can put the aggressors in like really awkward places for your opponents to get to. But aggressors do die pretty quickly when they get focused. That's the downside of the list. Ballistas Dreadnoughts are cheap. I have been talking about I think there is a strategy in running 3 Ballistas Dreadnoughts. I don't think it's weak at all. I think it's a lot of las cannons, a lot of crack missiles for 420 points. Double scouts, obviously. Double Ball Predator, I think, is good. The Thunder Strike is a good unit. Very handy to give +1 to wound anywhere you want it. I've run it in Gladius myself. I think it's good. Intercessors to stick an objective and then teleport them around later. The Chaplain with the Death Company is great again in Gladius. +1 to wound is very good. Infiltrators. I mean, this isn't a million miles from the tournament list that I ran with Gladius. And the Calidus to move around and do shenanigans. I like it. Having played something like this I went to a tournament with something like this. My takeaway from the tournament event was the Death Company with the Chaplain were one of the best units on my list, and I felt like if I'd had 2 of them at that tournament, I could have probably actually maybe finished top 3, because I finished 6. But saying that, I finished 6 where with a single 2-up, with a failed friggin' teleport, I would have actually finished top 3 anyway. So, hello on Twitch, how you doing? So yeah, it was it's a failed teleport. Failed teleports happen. I think it was possibly the only failed teleport in the tournament. But I think I failed 2 teleports the whole tournament. So I guess you have to, if you're going to teleport every turn or most turns on a 2-up, you're going to have a couple of fails. So 2 fails over 10 games is probably slightly statistically less, but yeah, my takeaway from a very similar list, what was different? Like, I didn't have Ball Predators, I had a Repulsor, and I didn't have the Thunder Strike. I had, like, double Vindicator. I did have a Ballistas Dreadnought, though. So it was like, I lost both Ball Predators and 2 Ballistas, replaced them with 2 Vindicators and a Repulsor, and then inside the Repulsor I had 2 3-man squads of Eradicators. So pretty much the lists are almost identical, apart from that. And my takeaway was, if I had a second 5-man Death Company with a Chaplain attached, that might actually been what I needed to go on and do really well and potentially win the event. I think if I do go back to Gladius, I may do that, or I may run 10 Death Company with Lamartas. 5 Death Company with Chaplain is good, but my question is it enough? Because if it's the 10 with Lamartas, they tend to survive a few extra turns, which means a few extra more turns of damage. And if you've got 2 of them, inevitably in some games shit happens, you lose one of them. If you've got, and I think that was what I felt like. I played against some Chaos Knights, and Chaos Knights are very good at killing Marines. They're like -4, -5 in shooting. They're -4 or something in combat. So when I lost my Death Company, I felt like, man, I just needed 5 more Death Company guys. So this isn't bad at all, El Marto. But yeah, if you struggle with this, my opinion is you're almost there. Find a way to get 5 more Death Company in there. I think something would have to give. It would have to be like a Ball Predator. It would have to be like a Thunder Strike. Like, you need to give up something. But, Lamartas in 10 Death Company is generally very, very good. Okay, I've screwed up my notepad file here. Hold on. Cool. Okay, we're looking at Todd. Todd has submitted a Sons of Sanguinius list. Okay. Captain, Lamartas, Sanguinary Priest, Sanguinar. Borderline too many points, Todd. 240. 470. It's really high. Really, really high. I feel like as much as all these characters are decent, I think Dante is the one that stands out to me as the weakest out of these. Let's look what else you got. You got 10 Death Company with Jump Marines. You got the Redeemer. You got Outriders. Surprising choice, but okay. I mean, a lot of people have been saying they want to try Outriders, test them out at 80 points. You got the Scouts. You got the Terminators with Power Weapon... Chain Fist. I actually don't think you need Chain Fists anymore, right? Because Chain Fists are -1 to hit. Power Fists are one better. They're not -1. I say -1 to hit. Chain Fists hit on 4s, Power Fists hit on 3s. Chain Fists have anti-vehicle 3-up. Power Fists do not. But Power Fists are going to be better into anything that is not... So, like, Power Fists are going to be more global. They're going to be good against infantry, beasts, swarms, monsters. The only thing that Chain Fists are going to be better against is vehicles. And I feel like I don't think... Like, if you go to a tournament, 2 lists of vehicles, 3 don't. I think you're better with the Power Fists. The Power Fists are strength 10 now on the charge, which typically isn't too bad against vehicles at all. When the stream ends, Steve... Just put your list in a comment on the video description, and I'll add it. You might not be on next week's show because there's already a backlog of like 5 or 6 lists. Trying to do like 8 lists tonight. But we'll maybe get you like next week after, right? Reed. Reed says your content is always pointed, and I forget to like the videos, but I don't think how it affects your stuff. But now I know. You'll like every video I watch. I appreciate it, Reed. Yes. I actually don't know how likes affect, but I do know that my weekly, the games that I put out every week, I've been trying to ask for people to give 100 likes on those videos, and the last couple have done amazing in terms of like the views that I got on YouTube. And I think it's because the last few got like a lot of likes. I'm not sure if I can show you, but like, does it show? Yeah, like, so this one here, last week's video got 200 likes, no dislikes, look at that. And it got like 2,500 views, whereas like the boarding action one, 100 likes, only got like 800 views. The Imperial Guard video got 200 likes again, 3,200 views. So I think likes just means... Yeah, because, like, look at this one. This was a battle against Chaos Knights. It just has literally, like, half the views. And it has half the likes. So I think the likes just make it YouTube think, hey, this guy's content's not bad. Let's show it to more of his subscribers. Because YouTube don't show your videos to all your subscribers. They just don't. I think you can pay to have your videos shown to all your subscribers. But it's the same as Facebook. If you've got a Facebook page with 1,000 subscribers and you post something, only 100 of them see it unless you're willing to pay Facebook to show it to other 900, right? Likes during live gets it to the front page for other people, says Jar. Yeah, probably. Yeah, so anytime you watch a video and you're so inclined to hit the like button, it is super appreciated. Thank you. Sorry, I lost my place. So Outriders, Scouts, Terminators. The 10 Vanguard Vets with Storm Shields. Double Vindicator. Again, Double Vindicator coming up in Sons of Sanguinius. Again, Calidus Assassin coming up. Dante, Sanguinary Priest, and Vanguard Vets. Terminators and the Land Raider. All just ideas. I'm kind of throwing cheese at the wall. Okay. So Dante and the Priest with the Van Vets. I haven't tried that. But that's a hell of an expensive squad. What is that, like 400? 430 points. Dante's making them all +1 to hit. I was going to say, is that all Dante's doing for them these days? Commander Dante. Vanguard Veteran Squad. We just check. So Dante's giving them +1 to hit. Oh, and the +1 to charge. I mean, that's not too bad. Vanguard Veteran are hitting at strength 7 on the charge at -2. So you've got 10 of them, so you're getting 50 attacks hitting on 2s. 50 times 0.833. So you're making like 41 hits. Bear in mind, you're still going to get like 6 more attacks from the priest. You're going to get 7 more attacks or something from Dante. So 41 hits. Plus 1 to charge. Strength 7 minus 2. It's decent. It's decent. I think my problem is like knights. I played this into knights a while ago and I struggled with the 10 Van Vets. I don't think I ran Dante. I think I ran a captain and the Sang Priest. So let's just use knights as an example, right? So I'm gonna fight like a God, I don't know, not Chaos Knights. Imperial. Let's do Imperial Knights because I know them a little bit better than I know Chaos Knights. I've actually fought less. I fought against less Imperial Knights than Chaos Knights in 10th. But alright, so the Knights are T12. So let's say I pay Red Rampage. So we got lethal hits. So out of those, so 9 start is auto wounds. So take 9 off that. And then we're only going to wound on 4s. So times 0.5. Oh, what the fuck did I just do? I think I did 50 times 0.833 times 0.5. So they need the knights need to take 29 saves. They save on 4s. But here's the kicker. There's a, and this is what screwed me actually. There's an enhancement for a knight that makes them -1 to the AP. Yes, this one, the Questoris Unyielding Paragon. Each time attack is allocated to the bearer, worsen the AP by 1. And this is where this totally screwed my squad up. So I was going to make them take 29 saves, but he's taking those 29 saves on 3 up because he's ignoring one of my AP. So the Vanguard veterans are back to just 1 AP. So if they're only 1 AP, he only takes 9 damage on his 22 wound knight from the 9 Vanguard from the 50 attacks from the Vanguard veterans. And yeah, you can say, well, you don't play against knights very often, so you don't need to worry about it. But I guarantee you, if you go to a tournament, you're going to have a game against knights. Jason says, knights are stat check for damage, and in 10th with melee nerf, it's hard to hurt them. Yeah. That's why 2 damage power fists on Death Company are just far... That's why I literally only run Death Company, I guess. Because if that was Death Company, then I'm doing 18 damage rather than 9. Maybe it's slightly less because Death Company don't get as many attacks, sure. But Death Company do get built-in rerolls to hit, so probably it's actually going to be... So the Death Company are just going to do more damage. Yes, I suppose a Storm Shield with a 4-up save is better, and a 5-up Feel No Pain is better than what the Death Company get, but wasn't the list Gladiator... What, the list I ran? No, the list I ran was Sons of Sanguinius when I lost against Knights. So, that's my problem with the Vanguard Veteran Squad with Dante and the Priest at 430 points. And I think there's other problematic units for it as well. And you're always going to have to pay 1 CP to get the +1 to wound. If you had a captain in there rather than Dante, you'd save yourself some points. You'd be more willing to put Oath of Moment on your target. I feel like you're not really willing to commit Oath of Moment when you've got Dante because he's already given you +1 to hit, and you feel like Oath of Moment is kind of a waste. But then the captain would give you the free Red Rampage strat every turn, and I feel like these guys are crying out. They need Red Rampage. The thing about Death Company now is Death Company maybe don't need Red Rampage as much, right? Because they're strength 10 now. So if they're fighting against Terminators, for example, even without Red Rampage, they're now wounding on 2s. The Vanguard gives lethal hits as well. Sorry, I forgot that. Didn't I? was going to say, didn't I take? I did take the lethal hits into consideration. But yeah, I guess the Vanguard Veteran would give the captain lethal hits as well. I just can't get on board with. So in my list, I'm running 10 Assault Intercessors with a Sanguinary Priest. Not jump back ones, the super cheap ones for 150 points, and the Priest without a jump back for 80 points. And I thought it was okay. I wasn't really blown away with it, and I wasn't even sure I'm going to run it again. I'm probably going to run it one more time to see how I feel about it. But they're strength 6, and they get the same 50 attacks, and they get rerolls all wounds on objectives, and that's pretty much what I was playing this week. And it didn't feel that great. So I feel like I just don't think the Vanguard Veterans do enough damage for 420 points. So I guess if you disagree with me, feel free to disagree with me. I just give you my opinion. I just think for 400 and some points, like if you compare that to like Lamarta's and the Death Company, who's like 370 points, or even 5-man Death Companies with a Chaplain, they're probably doing more damage than these guys. Yes, the Vanguard Veterans will probably mow down like Orcs or Guardsmen, or they might even mow down regular Marines, but that's not the units that we're having problems with, right? Every single Blood Angels unit now can kill Marines. Reziel was joking this week about Scouts, and he was saying, like, I'm putting Scouts, because not many people play Scouts with knives and pistols, but you can equip all your Scouts with knives and pistols. For every... where is it? Have they changed it? Can you not give Scouts knives and pistols anymore? Yeah, here you go. So any number of models can have their bolt gun replaced with one of the following: a combat knife. So he's just giving his Scouts combat knives because they'll get 4 attacks at strength 6. So his little 465 point Scout unit will get 20 attacks at strength 6 on the charge. You know, like, so even Scouts with combat knives will kill Guardsmen, or kill Orcs, or kill other Marines. They're not going to kill Knights, though, and Knights are going to be the thing that you're going to have problems with and stuff like that. So, Dante should have devastating wounds. Dante should probably have a 3 damage weapon, and also he should probably have a better buff than the one he does right now. So, Todd. I like pretty much everything else. I am actually on board with trying Outriders. I just don't know. I don't think there's anything that's going to make me want to run Vanguard Veterans, which is a real problem because I've got 20 of them and they're all magnetized. And they're all beautifully painted and finished. And along with my 30 Sanguinary Guard, have sat in a shelf for the best part of 8 months. At least now I can play my Death Company. I think Death Company, they're the best. Yes, you have to attach chaplains to them, but attaching the chaplain is actually really good because it gives them +1 to wound, and their strength 10 on the charge with +1 to wound. You don't have to spend any command points on them. Or their strength 10 on the charge with lethal hits and Lamartas and -1 damage. Again, you don't need to spend any command points on them. Command points are needed all the time, especially if you're running like Land Raider Redeemers. You're going to want to smoke screen it. You're going to want to armor contempt it. You need to keep other things alive. You might want to do some heroic interventions if you're playing Blood Angels, all this sort of good stuff. So, for the most part, everything else in this list is fine. And hey, like I always say, don't just change your list because I tell you to. Play Dante. Play your Vanguard Veteran squad and take it. See if you can get some opponents where you're going to fight really high toughness stuff. And tell me if you think a 430 point Vanguard Veteran squad is going to be good if you're playing against enemies that are like, you know, I usually play against Death Guard. I find them very difficult to beat. Everything is really high toughness and they make you really low toughness and they really screw your armor save. So, you know, try them into problematic armies and let me know what you think. How are you doing, Surf Song? Evening, Kobe. How you doing? But yeah, I would love to field Vanguard Veterans. I would love to field Sanguinary Guard. I just don't think we can at the moment. It's a sad thing. but maybe maybe our win rate will stay reasonably low, and maybe we'll get some more improvements in the near future. All right, we are on to Zachary said he had the Van Vets and the captain survive multiple turns. Okay, what were they killed? Were they able to kill things though? All right. What did I miss? What are you saying Vanguard tactics for? What did I miss, Jason? Okay. Chris says a pinch of assault. This is about the 6 Sons of Sanguinius list for today. We've got a captain with Artisan of War. We've got Commander Dante, we've got Lamartes, and we've got Lieutenant with Combi Weapon. A lot of people basically maybe just want to take Dante because he has a cool new model and he looks great. But his rules just, they're not good enough. It's the same as Mephiston. Mephiston is a really cool model. And by the way, Mephiston is a baller in boarding actions. If you haven't played boarding actions yet, get yourself a Mephiston and get yourself into boarding actions with Assault Intercessors. He's dope as all hell. But maybe not so much for 40k. Okay, you've got Heavy Intercessor Squad. Cool. We've got 10 Assault Intercessors with Jump. We've got the 6 Blade Guard. So 6 Blade Guard has come back with a heavy vengeance. They were not getting run at all by Blood Angels. Probably all last from the launch of 10th edition to Christmas time last year. No one was running these. Now Blade Guard, 6-man Blade Guard seems like it's coming back with a vengeance. Also, 3-man Assault Centurions also seem very popular. One of the cool things you can do with 6 Blade Guard and Assault Centurions is they will all, 3 Centurions take up 9, 3 Blade Guard take up 3, so you can actually fit 3 Blade Guard and 3 Assault Centurions inside a Redeemer if you're so inclined. You can't quite fit 6 and 3 though. You got the Death Company with Jump Packs. You've got an Infernus squad again. We've got a Redeemer. We've got a Redemptor Dreadnought. We've got a Vindicator tank. Centurions and the Infernus and the Land Raider. And the Captain with the Blade Guard. Okay. Centurions getting centerboard with inside a Land Raider is pretty good. Centurions, like 3 Centurions will be able to almost kill a Greater Demon in 1 turn of combat, right? Like, they get Sustain 2 into monsters. It's very, very strong if you use Oath of Moment on them. I basically did I think it was 12 or something wounds to Be'lakor with 3 Centurions and Gladius, and they got more strength and they got more toughness. Sorry, got more strength and more attacks in Sons of Sanguinius. So 3 Assault Centurions are very good. They are very slow, so they need the Land Raider. I agree with that. 10 Death Company with Lamartes is good. I guess 10 Assault Intercessors with Dante. It's fine, but I think it has the same problem as we just talked about with the Vanguard Veterans. These guys are just hitting with chainswords. Chainswords at AP1 are not that exciting, even though you've got 50 attacks with them. You would actually probably do more damage with this squad with a Sanguinary Priest than having Dante. And the Sanguinary Priest probably going to give them more survivability. So if it was just me, I'd probably lose Dante and put a Sanguinary Priest in with the Assault Intercessors, honestly. I actually did the math on that last week, and it was the extra 2 AP across 50 attacks is going to be a lot better, I think, than +1 to hit. Because +1 to hit's probably going to help you on 8 extra hits, but AP2 on the 30 or 40 odd wound rolls you get is going to be much better. Good evening, Killer. How do we like Scouts these days at 65 points? I think Scouts are really great still, even at 65 points. If you need a scoring unit, it's hard to scoring units at the moment. Top tier are Scouts and Inceptors and the Calidus Assassin, I think, are the three that really stand out to me as probably the top scoring units in terms of like units that will just score points. So we've got the Blade Guard with the Captain. I think the Blade Guard with the Captain's actually probably a pretty good shout, because it just means that you will always have the free stratagem to use on the Blade Guard. They probably want to have +1 to wound whenever they charge, etc., etc. I might actually change out my Judas ER for a Captain. I think it might be the better shout. I'm not so fussed about Artisan of War. I can take it or leave it. Artisan of War is 20 points to improve the AP of his weapon by 1 and give him a 2-up save. So the Captain, I think the Captain already has a 2-up save, honestly. So it's just going to improve his... Oh, no, he doesn't have a 2-up save. I lied. Doesn't he already have a Storm Shield? Alright, the Storm Shield gives him 6 wounds. Okay, so he gives him 1 better on his regular save, whoop-de-doo, but does make his weapon Power Fist potentially. I think he has to have the Master Crafted Sword if he's going to join the Blade Guard, doesn't it? Oh no, this model can be attached to Blade Guard unless the model is equipped with the Relic Shield. Oh, so you could actually make a Captain... Oh no, you can't, because if you want to take the Relic Shield, you have to take the sword and the pistol. Okay. Yeah, so he kind of... He is what he is, I guess. So the Captain plus the Blade Guard is pretty good. The Centurions inside the Land Raider is pretty good. The Infernus Marines, I don't rate them at all. Vindicators are good. Redemptor Dreadnoughts are pretty good. The Plasma and the Redemptor is obviously one of the reasons to take it. Good at killing elites. Dante plus 10 is fine. I guess at least this way you're doing some mortal wounds as well, but again, I think you'd probably just be better having a Sanguinary Priest in there. Heavy Intercessor is a good unit for sitting on an objective and holding it pretty effectively. Maybe 1 too many characters. What with 390 plus the... Oh no, he doesn't have the Assassin. Sorry. Why did I think he had an Assassin in his list? Maybe this list's okay. Maybe a tiny bit too much in characters, but maybe it's okay. 390 points in characters. It's a tiny bit high, but it's not the end of the world. You're okay allowed to be a little bit high. How do you like the Scout season? Oh, I already answered that question. I like the Jump Chaplain ability more on foot. Or I like the Chaplain ability more on foot. I think the Chaplain on Jump Pack's ability is fine. I think it does mortal wounds 50% of the time. 50% of the time it does 2 mortal wounds. I think it's pretty decent. Okay. I think that is it. I think we managed to get through like 7 lists tonight, which was kind of ambitious. Maybe I didn't spend as much time on each list as I might normally do, but hopefully provided some good feedback. If you do want to get your list on next week's show or on a future show, put your list in as a comment, like just the full export from like Battlescribe or the GW app into the comment when this video finishes. So as when Gwyneth said, found it very interesting. Thank you. If you liked if you did find it interesting, you do find what I'm doing useful, please hit the like button. Do super appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who watched Friday's video. I'm going to make another quick video probably this week just about the fact that we did just raise $1,000 for charity, so that was great as well. So thanks everyone that donated to the charity giveaway. Super appreciated. Didn't think I'd hoped to raise like 200. So the fact that we did over 1,000 is crazy good. So thank you everybody for that as well. Much appreciated. And Wednesday night I think I'm playing Death Guard, and for Friday there'll be a new tactics video. I'm gonna have to think long and hard about. Are you replacing your painting? I have not. I showed Dante on my stream the other night. I'm not even close to having him finish painting. I'm finishing my heavy intercessors. I need like a week off work, like my day job, Sons of Sanguinius, and then I need like a day without the kids to finish painting Dante. Possibly even longer, because I'm the slowest painter in the world. But perfect. All right, thank you so much. Have a great evening, guys. Thanks for watching. Do like the video before you leave, and I will see you guys on Wednesday night, 7:30 for a live stream. That's it. Enjoy your evening.
Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.